Hi everybody, my name is Kada. I did, but so we about to go to the club. No, but we about to go to the club soon. This is my outfit the other day. Cute little bow bag, wet t-shirt, black shorts, black heels, um, jewelry. Where I live, we have this nice area, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can have a little picnic, you can sightsee, go to the museum. When I get home, maybe she came up to me at my kitchen. She's like, favorite color.
Imagine a young woman, radiant, full of hope, 23 years old, vanishing from her job one night. No one sees her leave. Then, 2 weeks later, her remains are found in a shallow grave behind an abandoned school. You'd expect the world to demand answers. But what unfolds is a tangle of texts, ghosts of the past, and a web of suspicion. That young woman is Kada Scott. If you like true crime that gets under your skin, subscribe to Crime Shadows. Click that bell icon. I'll be with you step by step through every twist of this case. Let's walk through what we know and what we don't about Kada's life, her final hours, and where the investigation stands now. Kada Scott was working a night shift at a care facility, the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, in Philadelphia, on October 4th, 2025. She was quiet, dutiful, dedicated. She'd also been participating in pageants. She had ambitions beyond just her day job. Her friends remember someone with a contagious smile, someone who cared. Her family describes her as light, kind, and full of joy. But that night, she left work under strange circumstances. Around 10 p.m., a coworker overheard her saying, "I can't believe you're calling me about this," before she walked off toward a parked SUV. That was one of the last times people saw her alive, outside of her phone's signals. In the days leading up to that night, she'd been receiving strange, harassing phone calls. She had also been texting with someone who called themselves Kel, a number later believed to be associated with Keon King, the suspect now charged. On the morning of October 4th, she even sent a chilling message, "Kidnap me again." Kel replied, "Better be up too." Those texts raise bigger questions than we might want to admit. Why would someone text "kidnap me again" unless there was a history? What did she believe she was stepping into? That night, her phone's last ping was around 10:24 p.m. After that, silence. Investigators later traced both her phone and King's phone moving toward Ada H. Lewis Middle School, an abandoned school building in East Germantown, Philadelphia, the very area where her remains would later be found. Over the next night, October 5th, surveillance showed two people exiting a car and lifting a heavy, body-like object from the vehicle, carrying it toward a wooded area near that same abandoned school. Then, some hours later, they returned. Less than 2 weeks later, on October 18th, human remains were recovered in a shallow grave near the school, and DNA testing confirmed they belonged to Kada. The medical examiner determined the cause of death, a gunshot wound to the head. Her death was ruled a homicide. Now, I want you to pause with me for a moment. Imagine her family's shock. That phone message, those calls, that final night. A daughter gone, fading signals, evidence pointing to a relationship many didn't know existed. What kind of relationship could she have had with someone that prompted her to say, "Kidnap me again"?
Remains by that school further back in the woods. They have like a blue thing covered over top of it. And then like I'm making this video because it could possibly be her. They have not said it yet. But yesterday they heard screaming while they was out there searching. And I'm talking about the community. I'm talking about Kay's aunt was out there too. The community is the one that found her. They called the police yesterday to tell the police that they heard screaming. And the police basically was out there not really doing anything. They said a white shirt was out there yesterday. And they did not even really check. The same area that the remains were found in not just long ago, apparently they said that was not there at first. But it is a fresh grave, y'all. It looks like a fresh grave, like it was freshly just done overnight. They kept saying on live, the community kept saying they called the police, they told them, and it was like they wasn't trying to search last night. They keep saying that they heard someone screaming yesterday. I believe them because they were there. They know what they heard. Y'all, it's a possibility that it's her. Y'all, just pray.
Did she feel trapped? Was she reaching out, in danger, or under coercion? Friends say she was trusting. Some recall nights when she seemed anxious, distracted. Some say she hesitated before following someone's requests. It's impossible to know exactly what she believed in those final hours, but the text trail suggests she wasn't acting randomly. There was some history, some pattern. Her parents, in public statements, have clung to light. They describe her as a bright, generous spirit, someone who lifted others and whose smile lit rooms. They now find themselves in the unthinkable position of trying to press for justice, being part of tragedy rather than watching from the sidelines. In social media posts, they've asked people not to let her story be forgotten. Her co-workers, the people who saw her in those last moments, now replay what they heard. "I can't believe you're calling me about this." Those words trailing into darkness. Several say she looked distraught. Some regret not seeing more, not stopping her. Nobody expected that would be the last they'd see of her alive. Let's trace how the police believe this unfolded, and how they tied Keon King to it all. Then we'll hear more from friends and family. Then the twist.
This is the stuff that I watch on TV, in crime shows, scripts. To see this happen to someone so close to me.
Priya is describing what goes through her mind when she thinks about her friend Kada Scott. The two met while attending Penn State University. She says losing Kada has been a nightmare she still cannot fully understand.
It hurts because I kept replaying this on my mind that she didn't even stand a chance. You can give her a week, you can give her a few days, you can give her anything. Everyone was so hopeful that we would find her, that she would be alive.
Just a few weeks ago, she tells us Scott was getting ready to be one of her bridesmaids. Priya sharing this video of Scott excited, trying on the dress she was going to wear.
She was the type of person that she said she was going to do it. She was going to do it. She followed through all the way. And that is just something that I'm really, really proud of.
Then the questions you and I can't escape. The police narrative begins with the text messages. On October 2nd, 2 days before she vanished, Kada got a message. "Yo Kada, this is my new number." She replied, "Who dis?" The sender identified himself as Kel. Investigators say that Kel is Keon King. The next morning at 7 a.m., Kada sent, "Kidnap me again." King allegedly replied, "Better be up too." That text is chilling because it suggests a previous trauma, a prior event she referentially addresses. It implies a pattern. The investigation suggests that day, they arranged to meet that night. At about 9:45 to 10 p.m., Kada left her home to go to work at the Terrace, an assisted living facility in Chestnut Hill. She clocked in that night. A coworker says they saw her around 10 p.m., distressed, overheard saying, "I can't believe you're calling me about this S**," before she walked toward a black SUV parked outside. The SUV drove off. At 10:09 p.m., there was a last text, "CM when you hear, call me when you're here." By 10:24 p.m., Kada's phone went dead. No more pings, no responses. After that, silence. Meanwhile, investigators followed King's phone and tied it to the same region. Surveillance cameras picked up a dark 2008 Hyundai Accent, stolen earlier that week from a delivery driver on Sprague Street. That car is suspected to be the vehicle used to move her body. At 10:28 p.m., that Accent parked near the Auberry Recreation Center, right next to the vacant Ada H. Lewis Middle School, where her remains would later be found. A person was seen exiting the car, walking toward the school. 6 ABC Philadelphia. In the early hours of October 5th, around 4 a.m., two people were seen on video lifting a heavy, body-shaped object from the vehicle's passenger side, carrying it into the woods near the school. The car remained there for days. Investigators also traced King's cell phone moving back and forth between a house on Belmar Terrace and the school area. At one of his properties, they found contractor bags, a hammer, ammunition, and other suspicious items. 2 women living there were interviewed and released. King was not found at that house at that time. The criminal complaint suggests he may have used that house as a stash site, or as part of a disposal or staging setup. On October 18th, fresh earth was excavated near the abandoned school, and human remains were recovered in a shallow grave. DNA testing confirmed they were those of Kada Scott. The medical examiner ruled her death a homicide by gunshot wound to the head. Once that was official, the district attorney's office approved murder charges against King, along with other heavy counts: robbery, arson, theft, abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, conspiracy, obstruction, and violating firearms statutes. King is being held without bail. His arraignment was immediate after the charges. The judge denied bail outright, citing the severity and risk. King's defense lawyer, Shaka Johnson, spoke publicly and faced backlash. He defended his decision to represent King, claiming he listens to what he believes is a higher call, not public opinion. Johnson said he's facing petitions and criticism asking him to step down, but that he accepted the case out of principle. He claims not to be seeking attention. He says his focus is doing his job even under public pressure. In court, King's lawyers have begun pushing back. They demand evidence, question chain of custody, and question whether all the forensic processes are airtight. That is standard, but in a case this raw and emotionally charged, every misstep could unravel the prosecution's narrative. The defense also hints that others might be involved, that King is not alone in this. Friends say Kada was full of life. She competed in pageants, expressing confidence, ambition that she wanted more from life. She was not just the girl with a caring heart, but someone reaching toward bigger dreams. In social media tributes, friends recall her smile, her laughter, how she listened, how she was always there for someone else. One friend said, after her disappearance, she just didn't deserve any of this. Her family speaks with both grief and resolve. The statement they released: "We kindly ask for space and privacy. Our hearts are shattered. We are deeply..." So that's the official account, pieced together from texts, phone pings, video, and forensic work. Now let's pause and dig into how people close to Kada see this, what they've said, what they feel, and how this tragedy echoes beyond just the timeline. Be grateful for the outpouring of love, support, and prayers. They say they want her remembered for her light, her kindness, her beautiful spirit. In public memorials, they ask the public not to forget her, not to let the story die. Coworkers recall that day. They replay those last moments, her tension, her words, the direction she walked. "I can't believe you're calling me about this." That phrase haunts them. Several say they wish they had intervened. They wish they asked what was wrong, stopped her path, noticed the change earlier. Guilt lives alongside grief. This comes from the initial co-worker testimony recorded in court documents described in the news. Some say she seemed anxious in the days prior. She complained of being harassed. Community members also became part of her legacy. At the abandoned school site, they held balloon releases, memorials, and vigils. Some local council members called for demolition of the abandoned school, concerned about how such vacant spaces become hiding places for crime. In one community meeting, police assured residents that the investigation wasn't over. They were still seeking accomplices. The public turned a harsh eye to how previous cases against King collapsed. Earlier this year, King had been charged in a kidnapping and assault case. The victim and witness failed to show in court, so those charges were dropped. Now, that prior history makes people wonder, did system failures give him confidence? Did he slip through cracks? The district attorney, Larry Krasner, even blamed the cash bail system, saying King posted $20,000 and walked free in that earlier case. He argued victims are less likely to testify if they fear the defendant is free. The community feels the weight of that. When a case collapses due to no-shows, it doesn't just affect that one crime. It ripples. Trust erodes. Now let me bring you what might be the twist, or at least the wrinkle. The part of this story that suggests there's more hidden under the surface. Investigators, in court documents, explicitly mention possible accomplices. They charged King with conspiracy and tampering with evidence. If someone else helped, buried, burnt evidence, or aided in disposing of the body, their part could be crucial. A body this heavy, this final, moved under darkness, that often requires help. Even cameras capture two figures. Then there's the house on Belmar Terrace, with contractor bags and tools found. The idea of a staging site implies forethought, planning, assistance. Surveillance and phone logs show multiple returns between that site and the burial area. Also, those workers who saw her lonely outside the job. The timing, some think she may have been coerced, drugged, or under duress before being shot. That's not proven yet, but the patterns suggest it's plausible. Investigators continue looking for evidence of sedatives, forced movement, etc. Criminal files also mention arson, the accused burning of the vehicle to destroy evidence. Some ask, was the car burned too early? Did that happen before or after burial? The sequencing is critical. So that's the twist. This may be more than one person's crime. This may be coordinated. This may be a network of secrecy. Where does the case stand now? King is in custody, charged with murder and multiple other offenses. He's being held without bail. His preliminary hearing is scheduled, some reports say November 10th, for the murder charge. Investigators are pursuing leads for other suspects or helpers. The forensic team is still analyzing all evidence: ballistics, DNA, cell tower logs, digital forensics. The DA's office has expressed confidence in the case, but also acknowledges gaps. The public is being asked to bring forward any tips, especially anyone who may have seen or heard something near Ada Lewis School, or those who recognize King's phone movements. Legal motions are likely incoming. Defense will challenge evidence, chain of custody, possibly argue that King's phone location doesn't prove knowledge or intent, etc. So yes, the case is active. Arrest made. Charges filed. But not closed. Many pieces are still under scrutiny. Let me pause with you. I want you, the viewer, to feel what this case leaves us with. A young woman, bright, hopeful, with dreams beyond the night shift. A string of messages, kidnap me again, words that echo past pain. A final walk toward a car in the dark. A silence lasting until a shallow grave is found weeks later. A suspect, but possibly not alone. Forensics, phone pings, grave dirt, burnt vehicles, loved ones left behind, pleading, demanding, remembering. As we close, I want to leave you with the questions that linger, the things for each of us to think on. What was Kada's relationship with King really like? Was she vulnerable, threatened, trapped? Did she reach out in danger, or was she silenced? If someone else helped, why haven't they been named or arrested? Did the system fail her once before, when King escaped earlier charges? Would things be different if witnesses had stayed? If victims had felt safer to testify? How do we weigh digital footprints, phones, cameras, against human complexity? Does location data prove guilt, or just presence? Can the defense cast reasonable doubt on the chain of evidence? How much do we trust forensic teams in shadowy, emotionally fraught cases? And most heart-wrenching, what does justice look like here? Even if King is convicted, does that restore the life that was taken? Does the family ever find peace? It's not enough to say Kada sent, "Kidnap me again," and then vanished. What that text suggests is a story of fear and repeated entanglement. It implies a relationship she thought she knew, but which may have been laced with coercion. It hints at a trauma she had endured before, something she referenced, something she assumed her recipient would understand. Think about that when you read it. A woman sends "kidnap me again," not as a joke, not lightly, but with weight. It's pleading. It's a warning. It's an acknowledgement of past danger. It's seeking a reaction. It's sending a signal. And the reply, "better be up too," suggests the sender expected it, accepted it, or tacitly permitted it. So psychologically, what power dynamics could be at play? One possibility is control through fear. If King, or Kel, had dominated prior episodes, then Kada may have believed she was in a transactional, manipulative dynamic. She might have feared retribution if she refused, or thought she could negotiate safety by complying. Her mind might have been weighted with, "if I don't do this, something worse happens." That's the kind of fear where boundaries crumple. Another is cognitive dissonance. She might have loved, or at least still cared about, someone who hurt her. That contradiction, loyalty mixed with fear, is brutal. It erodes clarity. It makes you stay longer than reason would. She might have believed she could talk him down, that she could make one more appeal. The "see him when you hear" suggests she thought she would still have agency in that encounter. Then there's anticipatory dread, the nagging sense something would go wrong. Her coworkers said she seemed anxious, uneasy, distracted. If she'd been harassed before, if calls had been threatening, she may have known what was coming. Sometimes in such cases, victims expect the coming blow, yet feel powerless to escape it. Now flip it to the possible perpetrator's mindset. If King planned this, or at least was complicit, he might have viewed her as someone who could be persuaded, coerced, trapped. The fact that the vehicle used was allegedly stolen, burned, and the disposal was done in darkness points to someone who understood risk, concealment, and control. That's chilling because it means this wasn't spontaneous. It suggests premeditation, or at least preparation. And then, guilt and regret. Think about the coworker who heard her words that night. I can't believe you're calling me about this. Imagine carrying that phrase, replaying it over and over, wondering
We are saddened, God, to gather
intervention
on this occasion where a precious soul was taken from us without warning.
Kada Scott! Say her name! Kada Scott!
This is Kada's aunt. She's the one representative from the family who was willing to come out today. You know, the family deserves the opportunity to rest. Yes. So I want to be very kind to Ms. Donna, and I want to invite Ms. Donna up here to give a few words.
On behalf of the family, I just want to thank each and every one of you for your prayers, for being a community, for holding us up, for holding us down, for your continuously searching and not giving up. Thank you, thank you, thank you just for being who we just didn't know how to be at the time. Thank you for being consistent. Thank you for not giving up. And even though this is the worst thing that we could have possibly hoped for, we were able to get our baby back.
That family shouldn't have to cook. They shouldn't have to do anything at this time. There's enough organizations out here to be able to support everything they need as they go through this tragedy. Please, I implore you to do that. All that other stuff we can work on later. We're talking about tearing down the school and all that stuff. Right now, the important thing that we can do is love on this family.
Yeah. This is a human problem that all of us feel. Every single person here that is out here, I guarantee you, beyond some job that we have to fulfill to come out and be present as elected officials, this touches home. The idea that young black girls cannot be safe, even at their own workplace, in their own city, in their own town, is unacceptable.
And our job is to make sure that we keep our babies safe. And so to the family of Kada, to all who loved her, who were all impacted by her grace, by her beauty, by her love, we stand with you and know that her legacy will not be in vain.
murder, conspiracy, abuse of a corpse, tampering with evidence, theft, robbery, arson, and related counts. He's held without bail. The defense will almost certainly challenge chain of custody of evidence. If someone contests whether the forensics were handled properly or whether contamination occurred, that could weaken the case. Phone location evidence. The prosecution leans heavily on cell tower data, phone pings, last known positions. But the defense might argue that proximity does not equal guilt, that someone else could have had access, or that the phone data is not precise enough to prove intent. Witness credibility. If any witness changes testimony, if credibility is challenged, or if someone denies seeing what they claimed, that opens holes. Forensic causation. The medical examiner says she died of a gunshot head wound. The defense might push for alternate possibilities. Was it execution style? Was she incapacitated first? Could there be reasonable doubt about how and when the shot occurred? Alternate actors. Since video suggests two people move the body, the defense could argue King was only one piece of the act, or that someone else is responsible for the actual killing. Constitutional protections. Motions to suppress evidence, challenge search warrants, cross-examine how investigators seize digital data. These are standard, but in high-profile cases they often make or break the pursuit. The prosecution, for its part, must tie all those physical, digital, and testimonial threads cohesively and understandably. The jury will need to see not just phone data and camera images, but a narrative. This person was present, acted, had motive or relationship, concealed evidence, burned vehicles, disposed the body. Each link must be strong. If even one link is weak, the defense will pounce. Right now, the DA's office says they're confident but cautious. They know gaps exist. 6 ABC Philadelphia. The police continue looking for evidence of
watch on TV and crime shows, scripts. to see this happen to someone so close to me.
Priya is describing what goes through her mind when she thinks about her friend Kada Scott. The two met while attending Penn State University. She says losing Kada has been a nightmare she still cannot fully understand.
It hurts because I kept replaying this in my mind that she didn't even stand a chance. You can give her a week, you can give her a few days, you can give her anything. Everyone was so hopeful that we would find her and she would be alive.
Just a few weeks ago, she tells us Scott was getting ready to be one of her bridesmaids. Priya sharing this video of Scott excited, trying on the dress she was going to wear.
She was the type of person that she said she was going to do it. She was going to do it. She followed through all the way. And that is just something that I'm really, really proud of her for.
On Tuesday, dozens of community members gathered once again to remember the 23-year-old woman whose life ended too soon. A prayer service was held, along with a balloon release, at the vacant Ada Lewis Middle School near where Scott's body was found.
Kada Scott will always be to me and to us the forever Miss Philadelphia.
Community members vowing to keep Scott's memory alive.
We're going to have a law called the Kada Scott Law, so that women, black women, all women who are going through domestic violence will know that we are with them.
Become a headline, a caution, a short clip. I want us all to carry her memory, to demand clarity, to ask for accountability. Kindly join Crime Shadows. Subscribe, click that bell icon, and hold me accountable to bring you every update, every revelation, every truth. Don't let this fade quietly into news archives.